Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have Dr. Krithika Rajaraman with us. She is a very well-known developmental pediatrician in Bangalore, and she's a consultant developmental pediatrician at CCDD, Children's Center for Child Development and Disabilities, Motherhood Hospital, and Bangalore Baptist Hospital. She is also a trained AWAS practitioner, AWAS certified practitioner, and she is a play therapist, trained play therapist from National Association for Play Therapy in India, and she's also a parent of a neurodivergent adolescent. She is trained in acceptance and commitment therapy, and she conducts the Maitri Wellness Program and Mitra Program with her team for parents and siblings of neurodivergent individuals. So today she is joining us to talk about how to help non-speaking and minimally speaking individuals identify any pain, discomfort, illness in them, and share that with their parents and caregivers and doctors. So that's a key, very important skill to have for our children. So thank you so much, ma'am, for talking about this.
Thank you so much, Bindu, for kind introduction. And I'm representing Tarang this time, just not only Dr. Krithika. So thank you everyone for contributing money for Tarang. So let me introduce Tarang. Hope everyone can see my PPT. Is PPT visible? Okay.
Yes.
So Tarang is a NGO run by three of us, myself, Mauna is also there, and Ramachandran. We three of us are running Tarang. So what is the vision of Tarang is transform lives holistically and crafting a pressure-free heaven and empowering families, neurodivergent families to thrive. So we conduct monthly once a social networking program where we go to different places, community places, and the therapist, college students comes as volunteers. They take care of neurodivergent kids and adolescents, and the parents will have separate fun time in the public places, in the community places. We have gone to different places like Rangoli Garden. We have done a lake walk. Recently, we went to a farm for a whole day. So that is one of the vision of Tarang. And second vision of Tarang is celebrating and creating more inclusive places. We do interview with people who are doing inclusive services. Like they don't name it as inclusive, but they are very inclusive and their setup is so inclusive. So recently we have done an interview with Dr. Pramila Naidu. She runs dental clinic Small Bites for the now inclusion is a talk, but when my daughter was 5 years old, so that is 8 years back, her clinic was inclusive. Her dental clinic was inclusive. So that is celebrating and creating more inclusive spaces. And we also look into enhancing healthcare accessibility for neurodivergent individuals. This talk is based on that. So everyone has a right to communicate, and the way they communicate, the world must understand. Even the medical professionals or the nursing staff, everyone should be able to understand how are we going to empower them. That is what this talk is about. And we also support the mental well-being of caregivers and sibling. That is what the program called Maitri Mitra. We do it in 3 hours program called Fill Your Cup. So these are some of the activities of Tarang. So with this, I will not take more of your time. So let me go into today's presentation. So today's presentation would be like, I would be talking for 45 minutes. I read through all your questions. So this presentation is addressed in such a way how we are going to empower our children in developing those skills. And if this presentation is not answering your question, so the next 45 minutes, I'm open to take your questions and address it individually. So this presentation is based on interoception, mainly from Kelly Moller. Kelly Moller is a person who have her own website, and many of the materials which I would be sharing is from her free resources. So those link also would be shared to you by Bindu at the end of the talk. You would be getting that along with the recording. So no further go, let me go ahead. So what is interoception? We all know we have senses, like eye is for seeing, skin is for touching, mouth is for tasting, ear is for hearing, and we also feel a lot of internal body signals, and that sense is called interoception. That is our eighth sense. Along with vestibular and proprioceptive, interoception is a very important sense we all have, and that is our eighth sense. So what will our brain do is, with this internal body signals, it will use the sensation and it will take it as a clue, and then it will decipher emotions. The emotion can be affect state, like, hey, I'm feeling calm, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling bored, I'm feeling sad, I'm focused, no, I'm distracted. So these senses are sensed by our brain through these interoceptive signals. Otherwise, it can be homeostatic state. Hey, I feel sick, I feel hungry, my bladder is full, I have to go and pee, I have fever, I have pain. All this is sensed through these interoceptive signals. Now, when it comes to interoceptive awareness, even as neurotypicals, we have different levels of how we are aware of our interoceptive signals. So it's not that we are absolutely neurotypicals, 100 percentage perfect in this interoceptive awareness. We also have different levels, and similarly neurodivergent also have different levels of how are they aware of these interoceptive signals. And for any human being, there is a this awareness fluctuates. It depends upon the environment. For example, it was a long day for you, and then you are going to some marriage, your interoceptive senses are not fully aware. And it depends upon your level of stress also. Like, you are really stressed, then your interoceptive awareness may be less. And similarly for our kids, neurodivergent kids, the interoceptive awareness fluctuates. Certain times certain interoceptive senses are very good, they are intense, so they are like really aversive to certain things, so that only when they hearing, mainly the most thing is auditory sensitivity, which is so intense that they go in for sensory overwhelm, or their interoceptive awareness is completely muted. In many of your questions, you have asked, like, hey, my child is not feeling hunger. How do I make my child understand hunger? My child is not feeling the pain, or my child is feeling the pain, but my child is not able to express that. That is all because of this. Sometimes in neurodivergent population, this interoceptive awareness is muted. Their body signals is completely going unnoticed, and the brain is not able to pick up that signal, so they themselves are not aware. Or the body signals are noticed only when it is big. If it's a mild hurt, we might feel like, oh, my child fell down, and we might run. The child is like as if nothing happened and just walks away. If it is like really big and blood is coming, it's too much, then only our children might cry. So that is muted interoceptive awareness. It is quite common in neurodivergent population. Or it is intense, the body signal is overpowering, and it is too much that they can't regulate themselves. So now, how is this interoceptive awareness extremes manifest as? So it can manifest in their homeostatic state. So the homeostatic state, if I have to say again, hunger, thirst, pain, illness, body temperature, sleepiness, all this are homeostatic state. And we all know emotions like anger, calm. Those are all emotion states. So how does it manifest? In homeostatic extremes, it can be that if they are playing with a video game, they are toilet trained, but they are not even aware of their bowel and bladder. So while they are watching a screen, they might just be in the um sofa wherever they are sitting. um, Sometimes it is like extremes of emotion, that they are completely toilet trained, but still they pee when they are having some emotional tantrums. They might pee, and as parents we would be questioning, like, hey, my god, my child is toilet trained, why is my child still doing it? That is interoceptive extremes. Not seeking out food or drink, they might be hungry, it might end up in crying tantrums, but they are not able to come and say, like, amma, I'm hungry, or they are not able to point to their food. Some children might be high frequently eating. They would be fed, again they go to kitchen, they eat, again they go to kitchen, they eat, whatever it is there, they keep on eating. That is also the interoceptive awareness is muted. Intense or muted experience of injury. Some children, for a minimal, like someone would have just touched them, it would be extreme of emotion. For some children, they would have fallen, but still they don't cry at all. They just go as if nothing happened. Intense of or muted experience of symptoms of illness. So they might be having high fever, but still they would be playing around. When we touch only, we understand like, oh, it's hot. Oh my God, my child is having fever. Or for a slight tummy disturbance, before passing a flatus, it might be a big tantrum. That is intense experience. They might have, most of the children in the spectrum might have sleep difficulties. And I have already discussed about temperature. This is about homeostatic emotions. Now coming to affective emotions. They go to their anger and all, it's like they are all calm, and it's like anger goes to peak. They don't know that they are becoming tensed, they are becoming frustrated, they are becoming upset. It is like, when I become upset, it's like 100% upset. I don't even seek for coping strategies. I might say, like, with social stories, the child might remember that if it is this way, I have to do this, doing this is wrong. They might say all that, they might understand all that, they might even feel guilty about overreacting, but they won't be able to apply those strategies. Sometimes the coping is unhealthy way of coping. Their body sensation changes, they are not aware of it, and that becomes like a self harm. Even in your question, one of your question, you have mentioned like, hey, when my child is upset, the child starts biting themselves, but still not expressing it. So these are all interoceptive awareness extremes. So we all know it, though you didn't know the name of it. You all have experienced this in your children. Now, what to do about it? I'm saying like, okay, autism children will have it. What to do about it? That is the purpose of this talk. Can interoception be improved? Yes. Researcher states that interoception can be improved, and it is not just for neurodivergent, even for us, even for us who is going through stress, continuous chronic stress. It's very important that if we also improve our interoception, and any human being at any point of age can improve interoception. There would be many of us who would be hungry but become hangry. Hunger increase our anger. Like, we know that, hey, this is a usual tantrum. Sleep, lack of sleep, we just blurt out with our kids. So can interoception be improved? Yes, it can be improved for our kids. It can be improved for any human being at any point of age. So what should we do about that? See, for us, people will say, go to yoga, practice mindfulness, practice breathing techniques. We all, as neurotypical, we all do it. And even neurotypical children, they have mindfulness program, but it is too abstract for our children, and it requires a certain degree of cognition and attention. If so, I'm going to teach a neurodivergent, okay, take in a deep breath, hold and breathe out. It's quite difficult for a child in the neurodivergent spectrum with less cognition to understand that. So how are we going to build? The traditional mindfulness technique works for parents, works for sibling, but not for neurodivergent individuals. So we are going to learn a new technique called interoceptive awareness builders. So today's talk is going to cover this. So this is how does it work? We are going to teach the children how they are going to be aware of their interoceptive sensation. We are going to take into one body part and we are going to work. It's not like throughout the body part. Second is we are going to provide a lot of visual and language support, and it's going to be playful. It's not like a tabletop technique. I'm going to teach you and you have to learn. It's not that. And everyone has a different interoceptive experience for the same thing. For example, for some people, if so you give that cold milk in their hand, I might enjoy it. Till I carry that cold milk in the hand, I might enjoy it. There might be another person who would be holding it like this and carrying and coming. We both experience the cold, but the way our body take it, the way we perceive, whether it is comfortable or uncomfortable, it is different for each individual. That will also be taken into consideration in interoceptive awareness builders. So we are not going to follow the traditional mindfulness technique, rather we will take this interoceptive awareness builders. So already as explained, this is fully taken from kellymala.com. If you go into that website, you get a lot of free materials. Today's talk is based on that. And she has a book called Interoceptive Curriculum. Whether to buy that or not, you can decide after going through her free materials. So how that is built? So we are going to divide the body parts into two, like outside sensory experience and inside sensory experience. We all know that outside sensory experience is our hands and fingers, feet and toes, eyes, ears, and skin. So mouth and that is the taste sensation, and the smell sensation is also there, but it would be covered later because these are very easy to explain. For some children who are like really foodie, who can really smell better, you can take it in the first level itself, but initially we will take this as outside thing. Then the inside experience we will take one by one is muscles, lungs, heart, brain. If they are not able to understand brain, we'll say head and the stomach. So first we are going to divide the body parts into inside body parts and outside body parts. Many of the children, when we just put the body picture, they know most of the body parts. For the inside body parts, we are going to put the picture. At the same time, practically we are going to explain. So don't think that, hey, my child doesn't know science. If I talk about lungs, will my child understand? If I talk about heart, my child understand? No, see, even for a 3-year-old, you can do this. Let's look into how are we going to look into it. So the step one is an interoceptive talk by caregivers, that is by us, for ourselves, for our experience, and also for the child or adolescent experience. So don't worry, it can be a 3-year-old or it can be a 23-year-old. This can be done because we are going to do that talk. So what are we going to do? So in the Kelly Maller's website, there are some free thing and it's also paid thing. So everything has a pictorial representation. Okay, so there is something called descriptive menu. So if you are an Avas user, you can use that itself. You can take a printout of that and you can use that, or you can Google and you can use. So this is a interoceptive menu. For example, you are doing some yoga with the child and then you are sweating, your hand is all sweaty, your leg is all sweaty. You're going to show the picture and you're going to say like, oh, my hands are wet. See, after doing yoga, my hands are wet. If your child holds your hand, you're going to say, my hands are feeling wet. You are keeping the milk in the fridge. You're going to say like, oh, my hands are feeling cold. You can ask your child to touch also, but you're not forcing your child to say that, is your hand feeling cold? Initially, you're going to talk about your experience. So sometimes you can also bring in like you're doing paint or you're doing some household chore. So you are going to explain your experiences to the child, how your hands is feeling. You are washing vessels. My hands are wet. And you're going to show the picture also. So if you feel, hey, this picture of wet, my child can't understand, you can also make like from a tap, water is coming, for that it is wet. So you're going to show that picture. Might be you have done painting. You're going to say, my hands are messy. You are doing some yoga asana or you're clapping for 10 times. Then you're going to say, oh, my hands are sore, it's paining. And you're going to blow your hands and you're going to say to your child. So this is basically where you are going to bring this language into child's life. Now the question you might ask is, my child is still learning nouns. I'm not confident whether my child knows nouns, my child knows verbs. See, always modeling language helps. And you're also going to show it in your avas, or you're not having avas, you can take a picture of it, you can laminate it and you can keep it and you can show it. So take it as one body part. If you are going to work on hands for 3 months, you can work on hands and you are talking about your experience. Then you can take up feet, you can take up mouth. So many of your questions were like, hey, my child doesn't even understand hungry. So it is a common dinner time. You're going to say like, my stomach is empty, or you're very hungry, my stomach is growling. I think I'm hungry, I'm taking a plate. Or after eating the food, you're going to say, ah, my stomach is full. And you're going to point to that full picture. If so, you're going to drink water. Every time you're going to say, oh, my lips are dry, my tongue is dry, I'm going to drink water. So these are your interoceptive experiences, which you are going to explain to the child. If so, you feel like, hey, in Avas, I'm still very early Avas user. I can't carry my Avas everywhere. In the Kelimala website, you get these cards and you can take a printout of it and you can have it. If you are going to use, I'm saying, use only one body part at a time. You're using mouth, use only mouth. Once the child understand outside body organs, then go to inside for the stomach part or for the heart part. But work on the outside body organs. The most simplest is hand. You're going to work on hands because there's a lot of things your child would be doing. Once your child is comfortable listening to you, sometimes our children, when they learn, when they hear to a lot of complex language, they get an experience that, oh, next you are going to force me to talk that. And they start repelling. So wait till your child is comfortable. Oh, she will talk something. She's not going to force me. Till then, you wait. After that, you can start saying your child's experience also. For example, you are touching the paint, you feel it messy. You're going to say, oh, my hands are messy. Your child is enjoying touching everywhere. Then you are going to talk your child's experience. You're not going to talk about your experience of messy. You are going to say like, oh, it's good for you, you like it. So in hands you can say like, oh, for you it feels wet and it's nice for you. You're touching it, you're doing it slow. So any experience from it, but it should be your child's experience, not your experience. So once your child is comfortable listening to you, then you're going to move on to your child's experience. For example, a cold milk, you are comfortable touching. Your child is like, when I want to take my hands out, then you are going to say, oh, it's cold for me. Oh, it's wiggly for you. You don't want to touch. It's wiggly. Your hands are feeling wiggly. That's how you are going to put it for your child. So the interoceptive talk, you would be doing it, and you can make use of all the opportunities. While hunger, it can be boredom, it can be the emotion, like you are angry, you're going to say like, my hands are becoming stiff or tight, I'm biting my teeth, I feel angry. See, one thing of talking about your interoceptive awareness is, for parents, it helps a lot in emotional regulation. We don't react, because by the time we talk about our interoceptive uh, experience, we would have, our brain would know like, oh, I'm about to react, oh, I get some time to talk. So interoception, when you talk your experience, that will help in your emotional regulation also. Whenever you're doing chores, you can talk about it. Whenever you're doing exercise, yoga, walking, you can talk about your interoceptive awareness. And when your child is comfortable, you can start talking for your child also. But you are observing, and whatever you feel, it is correct. It's a guesswork. I completely agree, it's a guesswork. But as parents, we are also intuitive. We know whether the child likes it or child doesn't like it. So you can talk about it. Whenever your child is sick, because many of you have asked a question, my child is not able to say it. So when your child is sick, you start talking about it, like, oh, your nose is stuffy, your nose is blocked, your child is not eating something, oh, uh, when you're talking about the taste, oh, the tongue is bitter, oh, skin is hot, you're having fever, oh, throat is paining. So start talking about your child's interoceptive experience. And whenever you are sick, you can also say like, oh, my head is paining, or someone is banging my head, it's paining. You can talk about your interoceptive experience. But whenever you're talking, whichever body part you have taken, please do that. Once your child is comfortable with one body part, you can take two body parts, but make use of all the opportunities. Start making your child experience these words. Those words are like any common words, like give, take, like that, it becomes in the child's life. That is step one. Now moving on to step two, here only we are going to bring that interoceptive attention for the individual. Till now, though we talked about the child's experiences, it is not necessary the child should give focus to it. When you say like your hand is wiggly, it doesn't mean that the child has to look at the hand and experience and like, oh, my hand is wiggly. That registration is not needed in step one. But when it comes to step two, we have to bring this attention. So we will take up something called focus experiment. So your child is comfortable with these words. These words, it's already there in your vocabulary and in your child's vocabulary. Then 10 minutes in a day, you are going to do this type of focus experiment. It's all like fun thing. So I would be sharing the free folder from Kelly Mahler's website. It would be shared with you through Bindu. So there are some activities, which all fun activities which is given. So you're going to say like, you can show the pictures also and say like, hey, we are going to march 20 times. And you and your child, might be you have some yoga time, or you have some exercise time, or before walking, you're going to go for walk, but you will say like, okay, warm up exercise, and we are going to march for 20 times. You both are going to stamp for 20 times. And then you are going to put the question, I wonder, touch the child's leg and say, how is your leg feeling? And you can show the card also. Wait for a few seconds, and then you start sharing your experience. My leg is feeling sore. If your legs are paining, if you feel like it's nice for you, you are going to talk about your experience. Then again, you are going to ask, I wonder how your feet is feeling when you're marching. So might be initially the child might not be able to come up with a word. That's absolutely fine. But we are bringing the attention of the child. Oh, I have to experience. I should give notice to my leg. Again, you can do a guessing work. That might be your child's face is like, oh my God, 10th count itself, should I stamp, should I not stamp? And the child is waiting. Then you're going to say like, oh, your legs are sore. Your child is happily jumping and want to continue jumping. Then you're going to say from that like, oh, your legs are fast. That is how you are going to do it. Similarly, for hands, there are multiple things. You can put your hand in warm water for 15 seconds, cold water for 15 seconds, shake a hand like this for 15 seconds. You are going to apply lotion. You are going to wipe off the lotion from your hands. You're going to blow on your hand. Ice cube for 10 seconds. You are going to hold the fist like this and hold tightly for 15 seconds. Clap your hands for 5 to 15 times. And you're going to hold your hands still. So it's not necessary that all the things you're going to do on one day itself. You are going to take 10 minutes of your time. You can give any name for this. For in our house, the name is interoception. We call it as interoception fun time. So any one activity you are going to take, and if so siblings are joining, daddy is joining, as a family you can do it. And then we are going to, now it is child's attention time. Initially, if you want to do these experiments also, you can do it, but the child or the adolescent is not forced to talk about their thing. You talk about it. Now here you have to bring the attention. So you're not going to share your experience. You're going to ask the child like, hey, I wonder how is your hand feeling. If the child is blank, you can even show the descriptor menu. Still the child is blank, you will take turns. You will ask dad, hey, how's your hand feeling? The dad can show like, hey, my hand is feeling wet. The mom can say, my hand is feeling hot or warm. Again, we are going to show to the child like, I wonder what you are feeling. So in the menu card itself, they would be like, I don't know, or something different. There are two things. Now your child gives a very neutral expression. Then you are going to say like, oh, might be you want to select I don't know, and it's okay. It's not necessary that you have, it's not an adjective teaching time. Sometimes we feel like, hey, this way only I teach adjectives to my child. It's not a vocabulary building time. It is basically the child's experience. Might be the child is confused, the warmness, it's like too mild for the interoception to go. The child or adolescent is still learning how to experience it. It can be I don't know, and from the facial expression you don't know, the child can say I don't know. So this is another activity, like in yoga time, you are lifting the hand, stretching the hand for a count of 30, and then you can feel that stretch in the muscles. So initially you will call it as how's your arms feeling. Later you bring in the word called muscles. Touch, make the child touch the muscles and say like, how is your muscles feeling? And now when we are doing yoga, because there was a question on pain and where is the pain, where is the intensity, there was a question from the parent. So while you're doing yoga, many of the exercises where the children or adolescent is stretching, or you're doing some walking, running, there is a sort of pain. You can understand the child stops. That is a time where you're going to ask like, hey, where it is paining. I wonder where it is paining for you. If the child is, you can carry the leg card along with you. You can carry this pain scale also. Initially, if the child is able to say legs or feet, the child is able to do, then carry this pain scale also. So in the pain scale, there is these many things. Your child, you feel like, no, my child is not at that level. You can also use this one. Are you feeling okay, comfortable, comfortable? Are you feeling uncomfortable, or it's okay? So if so, you feel like pain scale and all, it's too much for my child to select the smiley, you can just carry this card and you can ask, do you feel comfortable? Do you feel uncomfortable? You feel okay. So this is some way where you are going to make the child also feel like, how is this feeling for you? Like if the child is doing like tree pose, after that you can ask your child, hey, that one leg which is balanced for that time might be hurting for the child. So how is your leg feeling? Where it is hurting? Or the child is in a mountain pose, there is a stretch in the leg, so obviously the calf muscles will be hurting. So you can show like, where is the pain? So you can touch, oh, might be here, the muscle. Initially you can call it as leg, later you can touch the calf muscle and say like, oh, muscle is hurting. And then you can ask the comfort level of a child. Are you feeling comfortable, uncomfortable, or okay? So it is easy for the child. Once your child knows to say comfortable or uncomfortable, then you can bring in this pain scale also. It's like the complexity increases over time. So this is for the stomach, for focus area, where your focus is, hey, I want my child to understand hunger, I want my child to understand gut issues. So what I would say is, you have done an interoceptive talk for 3 to 6 months, your child is comfortable listening to the words for yourself and for the child. Now you're bringing attention, interoceptive attention, work on one of the outside body part, hands. Your child is comfortable, then go to stomach, because that is important for you. If your thing is like toilet training, my child is toilet trained, but while watching the screen, my child pees off a little in emotional meltdown, then go to bladder. Use it as your focus area experiment. So it can be like after a meal, you are going to say like, hey, I wonder how your stomach feel. Excuse me. So you're you are going to say like, oh, the stomach is full. I wonder how your stomach feels. If so, the child is doing some core yoga exercise, laying on the stomach is being pressed, so the child might feel some tightness, or some if so, the child is doing planks, or in surya namaskara, if the child is like doing the cobra pose, you can ask the child, how's your stomach feeling? So you will have your stomach card and you would be doing this. For me, I can't do the spinning stuff. So anytime when we go to all these theme parks, I'll carry stomach card. So it's easy for me to explain to my daughter, like, my stomach is feeling nauseous. She enjoys it. She would be like, oh, I want to go for the next round. She has a different experience. So her thing is, my stomach is comfortable or my stomach is empty. For me, it is like puking sensation. So it is like, over time, the child also start understanding, oh, interoceptive experiences are different. For one person, it is different. Another person, it's different. So as they get older, it is also perspective taking. We start talking. one person feels different, you feel different. So this can also be interoception attention, can also be used for a builder for perspective taking. So this is again a free folder from Kelimala website. So this gives you an idea, like, hey, what should I do as an interoceptive attention? So you are going to use this in a day, only one thing. If so, you have introduced hand, your child is comfortable to do hand, then increase the time. Okay, hand and stomach. Introduce two body parts as interoceptive attention. So if you have something like a visual schedule, you can say like, hey, we will arrange the materials, that is bringing all these descriptive menu cards and whatever it is needed. Then you are going to say like, we are going to do hand interoceptive experiment, we are going to do a stomach interoceptive experiment, then over. So your child knows like, oh, this is not going to go for longer, because this is something which is very difficult for them. Sometimes when we are doing, right, I myself don't know, no one asked me in my childhood, how is your stomach feeling? For me, stomach feels hungry, stomach feels empty. Sometimes in anxious times, stomach feels a bit different, um, a sort of butterfly stingly sensation. In merry-go-round, it feels nauseous. But if someone says like during tickle time, during silly time, how your stomach feels, if you are gulping a big sip of water, how your stomach feels, I don't know. I am also experiencing for the first time. I have to give attention to my stomach and I have to explain it. So for the child, as an adult, as a neurotypical adult, if it's very difficult for us, it is very difficult for our neurodivergent children and adolescent and adult to give attention itself. So sometime will go in attention. So make it very, very clear schedule so that they know like, hey, this, even though it is very uncomfortable for me to do these things because someone is making me, putting on a spot and asking me, I have a choice to say I don't know. So if a child is not able to figure out, I don't know, and even in your experience you are not knowing, don't put a pressure on you that I have to say something. You can also say, I don't know, for the first time I'm feeling I don't know. So in interoceptive experience, a very, very important rules is your inner experience is always correct and valid. So a child can feel paint to be like wet, nice, you can feel to be messy. So your inner experience is always correct and it is valid. There is no wrong way to feel. Not knowing how you feel is completely okay. And you can say, I don't know. I experience it, but today I don't have words for it. Might be as I give more and more attention, I can come up with a word. Or there is no word at all. I can still say it's something different. Not wanting to feel can be also okay. Like your child is very much sensory sensitive, the child doesn't want to touch or the adolescent doesn't want to touch, they can very well say like, I don't want to feel it. It's not a force that you have to feel it. It is not a language building task. In language building task only, you would say like, feel it, then only you will understand the adjective. Here it is like a feeling, so you can make it as an opportunity to say like, oh, you feel uncomfortable, and then the experiment need not be done. Once a child or the adolescent feels like, hey, it's okay, I have a choice, I have a voice, then they just start trying with one figure and all that. So now, till now, we have covered interoceptive talk by us. The next stage is interoceptive attention. Now, the third stage is we are using this interoceptive attention to explain our emotion and well-being. So how do you know that you're angry? So I'm stopping sharing. I want listening from you. You are angry. How do you know that you're angry? Can you explain to me? Anyone? How do you know that you're angry? So you have to explain through your senses.
Do we talk or do we type?
No, you can talk. You have started talking. Talk.
Sorry. Sometimes, face may feel red or hot, hands
Okay.
may feel sweaty,
Huh.
voice may go higher or faster.
Perfect. So speed of breathing increases. So absolutely great. So Ambika, you want to add on?
For me, I'll be like more emotional.
Hmm.
Angry means I'll show off It can be emotion in different way, increase the voice or cry or heartbeat increases. So it's
Perfect.
that type of emotions is what Anna
Perfect.
means.
One has added the clenching teeth. Great. So what we are going to say is, how do we understand that we are angry? It is all through this. My hands are sweating. My hands are wet. I'm clenching my teeth. My eyes are becoming wet. Sometimes it's confusing. So initially, keep it really abstract, like this is for this. Some people cry when they are angry, but keep it, my heartbeat is increasing, I'm breathing faster. So if your child is young, keep it only external body things. If your child is intermediate, understand the language, start talking about breathing, start talking about heartbeat, all that. And then you say, I think because all of this is there, I'm angry. And again, when you're talking about emotion, it's your thing. It's only personal talk. And then the child is comfortable. If so, daddy is also comfortable talking. How many of our family members are ready to do it? It's great for the child, because the family themselves will start talking like that. Hey, if it is like anxious, you are in a hurry. See, when we are in a hurry, right, that time only we scold the child more. So start talking about your interoceptive. Hey, my hands are fast, my legs are fast, my stomach is tingly, I'm breathing fast, I think I'm anxious. So when we talk that, automatically our brain knows that it is our problem, it's not the child's problem. So we won't scold the child. So start talking the interoceptive experience. So in the interoceptive, the first talk, you talked only one body part. In the interoceptive attention, you brought an attention of one body part for the child, and you kept on adding. Once your child knows two body parts in the interoceptive focus experiment, your child is comfortable with two things, start talking about multiple, at least 3-4 of your body, and start connecting it to an emotion. If you're hungry, you can say like, hey, my stomach is growling, my head is aching, my if you feel that mouth is dry or something, or my mouth feels like chewing, you can say that and say like, I think I'm hungry. You're feeling, might be you're going and you're feeling cold, it's a winter season, you're going to say like, oh, my lips are chapped, my skin is we say it as the hairs becomes poppy, right? So we say like, hair is popping up, hands are cold, I think I'm feeling cold. So be exaggerated, but explain not just your affect emotion, but also you are going to talk about your homeostatic emotion. If your child has a lot of gut issues, even when you pass flatus, start talking about it. Even when you're about to go to toilet, right? Talk about it. I think my stomach is full, I'm feeling uncomfortable. You can also talk about, if so your child doesn't understand colon, intestines and all that, you're going to talk about your buttocks. You're going to say like, hey, I feel a sort of tightness there, I think I have to go and do potty. So start talking about your interoceptive experiences and clump it together. Maximum 3-4 you can talk. It should be at least 3. Talk 3 experiences, clump it together and say your emotion. It can be an affect emotion, or it can be your homeostatic emotion, whichever you want to build in your child. Talk about that. So I'm continuing. So my body signals are clues to my emotion. The emotion can be affect emotion, or the emotion can be homeostatic emotion. Each emotion has different body signals. So an emotion, how is your brain understanding it as a emotion? It is merging together 3 signals, and then it is saying like, oh, it could be this emotion. And what's the cause of my body signal? For example, Many of our children will understand they're angry, but they don't understand why they are angry. What is the cause of that anger? So we can start adding once we say this. So when you are saying like you are in a hurry, you are saying like my hands are fast, my legs are fast, my stomach is tingly, my voice is becoming loud. I think I'm anxious. I'm just thinking why I'm anxious. Hey, we are getting late. I'm anxious. That is the cause of my body signal. You can start talking about it. So initially, it is like an interoceptive talk. Gradually, you are also going to notice your child's thing and you're going to say. For example, if your child is doing some tabletop activity, you understand that the child is becoming angry. I could see that your hands are becoming tight. I could see your voice is becoming loud. I could see your legs are becoming wiggly. You want to move away. I think you are getting frustrated because you want a break in this activity. So this is how you talk about emotion. So it is a combination of three things where you're going to bring to your child, like, hey, if you have burning eyes, if you have stuffy nose, and you have nauseous stomach, you are feeling sick. Any viral infection, the child can feel this. If you have jumpy feet, if you have fast heart, if you have loud voice, for some children, when they are angry, they will jump. For those children, this could be used. So the child understand, if I have all this, I am feeling this emotion. It is not like filling the blanks you're going to show to your child. It is very difficult. In the process, you are going to talk. So in the process, your child is going to start registering, yes, my heart is faster, my voice is louder, I am jumping. So I am angry because I am wondering, or I am guessing, because this task is difficult, you are getting angry. So this is how you are going to build interoceptive things to the emotion. So it's a very, very slow process. So first 3 months you will take for talking, interoceptive talk. Once your child is comfortable to listen your thing, you will start talking about the child's. Once your child is comfortable listening, you will make it as interoceptive attention building as an daily 15 minutes of the time for that. Once child is comfortable with one body part, and be comfortable, it is not an adjective building activity. Be comfortable that your child can say something different. I don't know. So initially you would be talking for your child, showing the things. Later the child will start, or the adolescent will start participating. Once the adolescent or the child can at a time can do three things, you can start talking about the emotions. When they are at two itself, you can start talking about your emotion, two body parts. When it comes to three things, you can start talking about the child's thing. So currently, if it comes to my daughter, if I say, Ritu, your legs are fast, your mouth, your voice is loud, your mouth is giggly, how do you feel? If I say all these, she could put the attention and she'll say, I'm excited. So she is 15 years old. Now, what I am trying to do is, when I use these words, she's giving attention to it. And then she is analyzing and she's saying her emotion. So it would be a very gradual process, but it is a very, very useful process. Because one fine day, I want everything to happen. I want to happen in the peak of a moment. It won't happen. It is a small, small building block which you are going to build. So the third step is this, putting all the emotions together, where you are saying the word, the adolescent or the child is giving attention, they are analyzing and coming up with an emotion. So then they are also need to say, am I comfortable with this? Am I not comfortable with it? Or I'm okay with it? So how do you do it? When the child is excited, obviously he or she can't do the work what they have to do. So we are going to say like, how do you feel? Comfortable, uncomfortable, or okay? So, and initially when I'm excited, obviously my brain is not going to be focused, my brain is going to be distracted. So we can also help, like, hey, I think your brain is feeling uncomfortable, so that only it's not able to focus. Or we can also bring the zones of regulation, whichever is easy for your child. Hey, you are in yellow zone, you are very excited or you are silly, can we come to green zone? So this is something whichever is comfortable for your child. If so, you feel like, hey, this is more simpler, you can use that. Or if you feel like, hey, zones are okay. So in zones, let me give a simple brief about zones. So there's a blue zone. Blue zone means I'm sick, sad, bored, tired. That is blue zone. My brain is like a zombie, it can't work. Green zone is I'm happy, focused, calm, proud. I'm almost ready to do any activity. My brain is ready to do the work. What is yellow zone? I feel a bit worried or frustrated. I'm silly, excited. That time, the brain is getting minimally distracted, but still it can't focus on the work to do. Red zone is I'm overwhelmed with my emotion. I'm like too much overjoyed. I'm elated that I'm like too giggly, not able to do, or I'm so panicked. I'm very angry. All this comes under red zone. In a red zone, the child needs to take a break, calm down, come to yellow zone, then come to green zone, then only the activity can be continued. When the child is in red zone, we are going to take the child away from the activity. So you can also bring in the zones. A, you are excited, you are in yellow zone, now we need to calm down to come to green zone. So that is how you connect the emotion, like interoceptive senses, to an emotion. And the emotion, why the child should put the emotion into some thing, because we have to regulate our emotions. So we can also do this body check-in anytime when you are going to, if you have reached this stage, anytime when you're going to do a tabletop activity, anytime when you're going to go out of the house, you are entering a new place, you can do your body check-in and you can ask your child also to do a body check-in. Body check-in is how's your hand, how's your leg, how's your heart, how's your stomach, how's your brain. Okay, we have not come to this stage yet. I would be talking about my emotions, my body check-in, like how I'm feeling. I'm going to a new place, I have social anxiety. I would say like, oh, my hands are feeling wet, my stomach is slightly tingly, I'm breathing faster, my heart is slightly breathing fast. I think I'm feeling anxious, but that's okay. I can breathe, I can drink water. Now I'm feeling better. Come, let's go. So parents can start talking about body check-in. Then we can start, because it is in on the flow inside your house. When environment is all contrived and safe, if your child can very fluently do this interoceptive attention, then on the fly your child would be able to do. Otherwise, if you're not, your child is not ready, you can start about, hey, are you feeling comfortable, uncomfortable? Okay, only this you're going to take it outside. Your child is going to select something and then you are going to help the child to regulate. So now, why it is important to know this? Because I need to regulate my emotion, I need to build my coping strategies, and everyone's coping strategy is different. For example, for me, if I drink water, I might feel better, I might feel less anxious. If I breathe, I don't feel much of a difference, but if I listen to my favorite song, I feel better. So for me, I have my own feel good menu. Like if I'm feeling very anxious, then while I'm going to that place, I will select the songs which I would like to listen, so that that makes me more calmer. If someone says breathe, I can breathe, but it doesn't make any difference to me. So as you are doing the emotional regulation, prior the child tries it, you are going to figure out, discover with the child what is the feel good menu. So what is feel good menu? Whenever your body feels, your body can feel comfortable or uncomfortable. Now your child is able to understand, or you can understand that for your child. But you can always change the way my body feels. So whenever the body is uncomfortable, I can do some feel good actions that will make my body feel comfortable again. So as parents, if I ask you this question, though it looks, oh, it's all out of the box, today itself you know all this. When your child is feeling uncomfortable, can you identify? Yes, very well, you can identify. Okay, if your child is feeling uncomfortable, what you will do? You have set of activities, right? Hey, if I give this flapping toy, my child would be feeling better. If I make my child wear the earphone, my child will feel comfortable. When I hold my child's hands and squeeze, my child will feel comfortable. If I go to a calm place, my child will feel comfortable. You know all this. Though it looks like, oh my God, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, we are all doing this. Now we are going to just put it as, okay, these are the steps. I know this. So the feel good menu is sometimes we have only 1 or 2. I have to squeeze hands. I have to give a flapping toy. After that, I don't know. I have to take my child away from this place. No. If we keep on building this feel good menu, then it is easier for our child also to cope in that environment and stay. So once your child is comfortable doing 2 experiments, there itself you can start building the feel good menu. So the third one is something like you keep it as feel good. We are finding a feel good activity. So if your child enjoys touching paint or touching some sensory element, for example, if you think like it is like a pop-up toy, your child enjoys doing that. Or if your child enjoys touching, you have this pom-pom ball, right? Your child enjoys squeezing it. You are saying to the child like, hey, how is your hand feeling when you're doing it? It feels soft. It feels soft on the hand. Then you're going to ask your child comfortable. Then you are going to say to the child like, hey, it can be, if your child is very happy to do it, it can become a feel good menu. So you're going to say that I have put it under your feel good menu. Whenever you feel uncomfortable, we can try doing this and see that are we feeling good. So that is what feel good menu is. You people already know it. How did you figure out that it's feel good menu? Because of your observation. Now we are trying to put it into some structure. So this is not anything new for you people. So these are some of the activities which you will be already doing as a focus experiment. Jump up and down. Your child is jumping. You are going to ask a child to focus attention on the legs. And then the next step is you're going to ask, did you feel comfortable? Did you feel uncomfortable? Did you feel okay? So this comfortable is soothing. Uncomfortable is like your child is like overexcited. Then it becomes like alerting. If your child feels like okay, then it is neutral. And you are also going to observe. If it is awesome, you're going to tick it. That will come into your child's feel good menu. Even when your child is feeling outside, anywhere there is a sensory overwhelm, you can try this feel good menu there. If so, you feel like, hey, whenever my child goes up and down the stair, my child is feeling soothing. My child is feeling awesome. So in a new situation, your child is getting dysregulated. We are going to say like, hey, we are going to try our feel good menu. Come, let's go up and down the stairs 4-5 times and come back. See whether it is working in the natural environment also. So that this is basically building the feel good menu, making it like any experiment you do, you are making your list for the feel good menu. Gradually, the child will understand like, oh, I have so many things to try based on the place I can do. See, rocking really might help the child. If it's a table talk activity or with a therapist or during an exam, the child can rock. Everyone knows our children are neurodivergent, they are rocking. But in a public place, you feel like, no, my child should not rock. But go for a walk is going to help. You can do that. Flapping hand is going to regulate your child. The child is going to feel comfortable. Inside your home, the child can do. Outside, the child need not do. See, now if your worry is, hey, my child is not ready enough to understand this is private activity, that is a public activity, then keep all the safer things. Gradually, when you feel like, hey, my child started understanding privacy, then you can say like, hey, if you're going to flap your hands inside the house, it's absolutely fine. But in public place, you can choose other feel good menu. Let's keep this as our private feel good menu. So because it's like different age group parents are there, I'm putting different ideas. So if your child is young, as you are doing the activities, focus experiment, start putting it as whether it is soothing, neutral, or alerting. That is nothing but comfortable, okay, uncomfortable. If it is coming under awesome, remember that this can be used as a feel good menu for coping for your child in the public place also. So these are different feel good menu. I would be sharing this also to Bindu, and she would be sharing with you. This is from a website called Level Up. So they would have put different activities. So this is basically jumping up and all proprioceptive activities. Sorry, this is motor activities to calm the child. This is proprioceptive activities like tight hug, carrying a heavy item, stomping the feet, weighted blanket, chair push-ups, squeezing putty or play-doh, stress balls, squeeze hands, take deep breath, or a chewy tube or a bubble gum, chew it. So these are all proprioceptive thing. These are touch based. So each and every sense they will say, this is hearing. Can you listen to music? Can you sing your favorite song? There are some natural sounds. For us also, for meditation, we put this natural sound. So different things allow your child to experience. For some children, they are blowing a whistle, they are beating drums will calm them down, or putting a earphone, going to a quiet space. So this also you can check. So based on different sensory system, they would have given a list of items. So these items can also be your focus experiments. And then as you are doing focus experiments, you are also going to say that, hey, is it comfortable for you, uncomfortable for you, or okay for you? Hey, if it is awesome experience, hey, this is our feel good menu. So the child also understand like, oh, feel good is, hey, it's absolutely okay to do some to some self-regulatory or stimming activities to regulate yourself. So it's like validating their neurodivergent behavior. So when I say validating their neurodivergent behavior, obviously, see, sometimes as a neurotypical, when I'm anxious, I like to chew the back of the pencil. When I chew the back of the pencil or the pen's cap, I can focus better. When I come out of an exam hall, my pencil back is gone, my pen's cap is gone. I would automatically do it. As a neurotypical also, we are doing our coping strategies, but we know when someone looks at me, I will stop it. I'm aware of the social thing, so I'm stopping it. It is not wrong. When you are using some coping strategies, when a child is using stimming, they are trying to regulate themselves. Over time, we can make them understand like, hey, this is private. In private, if you do this coping, I'm absolutely comfortable because this house is safe for you. I validate your neurodivergence. This house is safe for everyone. So the last one is actions for emotional regulation, because every one of you have asked that question like, what should I do in that situation? As we are building all this, when we are really doing it in the situation, it works. So there is a lot of homework which you would have done. So when the real situation comes, so for example, the child is sensorily overwhelmed. So you're going to say like, hey, your feet is fast, it wants to run. Your skin is all popped up, the hair is all popped up. There is paining in the ears. So you feel sensorily overwhelmed. Let's think about our feel good menu. So, hey, do you want to go to a quiet spot? Do you want to wear your headphones? Do you want a squeezer? Can I squeeze for you? So this is something where you are along with the child and you are helping the child. Over time, when they become adult, you can also make something like their choice board. Go to a person who can help you and show it. They will help you in calming down. Because as a neurodivergent person, you can advocate for yourself that you are neurodivergent, your sensory system is different, this world is not designed for neurodivergence, but that doesn't make you scream or make some place uncomfortable for others. But you have every right to go and ask a person who is trusted person for you that I need my choice board, I need a break, and what is that I am choosing. And any place, if it is going to be a friend's place, if it's going to be a relative's place, please start advocating for your child that we have every right to ask for this. So this is basically the choice board, where based on your child's coping skills, you can show a choice board. The child chooses like, hey, I want a chewing gum. I want to listen to music. Hey, can you give me a pencil? I want to draw, scribble. Or can you give my iPad or laptop? I want to draw. I want to drink water. I want my squeeze ball. Or I want to talk to someone about my emotion. You can also bring in the zones. Like you are making the child understand like, hey, sensory overwhelm is orange zone. So we have to do something to go to green zone. For Avas users, so see, whatever I described, it's all visual support. Now, the same visual support, you are going to put it in your Avas thing. So anytime when your child is showing an emotion, you are going to say to your child like, I see you, your hands. For example, your child is getting angry. I see your hands becoming stiff. If so, in your emotion thing, you have taken that thing, you're going to say like, I see your hands are stiff. I see your body is becoming hot. Your face is becoming hot. Your legs are fast. I think you are angry. You are going to say it for your child with the Avas board. Once you have started doing independently, and if your child has built that skill, might be by the third stage, when you are starting to talk emotions of your child, bringing three interoceptive experience together, and you're going to talk, then this can become one of your Avas board. In your customization of Avas, you can bring this also. Whatever you have talked to the child about their experiences, you are going to put it in the Avas screen, and you will have some emotion thing. So go to the emotion folder, and then you're going to talk about how the hand feel, how the leg feel, how the stomach feel. That would be there, and the emotion would be there. This looks quite complex. um, Initially you can take only angry emotion, and you can put only those things. Gradually add on two emotion: happy, angry, and then how the child is going to cope. So then you are going to say like, you are going to go to the behavior folder. You talked about the emotion, then you say like, okay, let's go to behavior folder. Let's think of a solution, or let's calm down. Let's think of a solution, and from the solution, whatever you have done it as a feel good menu, you can put that picture. Initially it can be just a choice board. Gradually you can put that choice board picture into the Avas menu, so that it becomes like a communication for the child. So the child can go over time. What are we looking for is, the child goes to emotion folder. So when they are getting angry, when they are in the orange zone itself, you're going to say, hey, do you want to talk about your emotions? The child selects the, or you select the emotion folder, and you show, and you start saying, do you want to talk about your hands? Do you want to do body checking? Do you want to talk about your legs? Do you want to talk about your heart breathing something? And how do you feel? Angry. Okay, let's handle our emotion. Let's go to behavior folder. So what do you want to do? Calm down. For calming down, what activity you want to choose? So they select that. So you are modeling them, and you're giving them that activity to calm down. So with this, let me stop my presentation. So this is an overall thing, how you go stepwise. So all the questions are valid questions, but for your child to handle in that point of time, there are steps that you have to be prepared. And once you are prepared, this is a journey. See, we all know like we have come a long way. Might be in not an interoception, in some other thing we were in step 1. Today we are in step 3. We know that there is step 4 and step 5. We are going to go there. We are hoping that we will be there in step 5. But whatever steps we are, obviously we are much more better than yesterday. Obviously we will be in a better place tomorrow. So with this, let me stop my talk. Now we have another 45 minutes till 12:30, right, Bindu, the time?
Yeah, yes.
So we have
Thank you
another.
so much, ma'am. That was a lot of information, and you broke it down into doable steps. It was not like just you were giving some theory. So this is something that we can start away, start right away and go stepwise and see a lot of progress over time. So thank you so much for putting it together. So there were a lot of questions about behavior, ma'am. There's one that came up in the chat also. When the child cries a lot, or has a lot of self-injurious behavior or hurts others. So do you want to talk about that for a few minutes?
Okay, so I would bring it to that from a behavior management perspective. 1 minute, let me just share another PPT where I'll explain. Okay. So in any behavior, right, we call it as behavior escalation cycle. Your child is calm, some trigger happen, and then we say like, hey, my child started self-biting. That is peak of a behavior. My child started hitting himself, biting himself, pushing things. That is peak. Before that, there is an agitation phase, there is an acceleration phase, then the peak happens. So you are going to observe your child much more better. Hey, somewhere he's starting to walk faster. His body is becoming slightly tight. Might be that is agitation phase. Acceleration phase, hey, along with this walking faster, my child started doing this whining or the voice is becoming loud. Then my child start biting himself. So anytime when you have to control a behavior, when the peak has occurred, you can't control a behavior. Because when the peak has occurred, the child or the adolescent himself have to de-escalate and recovery will happen. It happens for us also. When we starting to fight with someone, arguing with our spouse, initially it would be like in a calm voice, we will be biting our teeth. That is our agitation stage. Acceleration, we raise our voice. Then a stage goes like outburst, crying, you don't understand, you don't know. That is a peak state. At that time, even if your spouse speaks something sensibly to you, you can't take it. You yourself have to finish crying for some 30 minutes. Then you have to be quiet, that quiet mode for 1 day. Then you will recover. So when you are trying to address someone in peak, you can't address someone in peak. So first thing what I would say is, are you observing the triggers? What are the triggers which is causing? So when you know the triggers, you said the stomach upset. My child is having some stomach upset. I know that is a trigger, but my child starts biting himself. How do I stop that? Start looking for agitation, start looking for acceleration. In agitation phase itself, if you can bring the feel good menus, the child will immediately calm down. If so, for some children, it is not so smooth like, okay, I'll do agitation. Amma, you become ready, bring my feel good menu. I will not go to act. No, it's like agitation, acceleration happens immediately. So always have your feel good menus ready. Take your child away from the place. If it's a tabletop activity, you see that agitation, acceleration is happening, start talking about like, I could see this, your hand is becoming tight, I could see that your face is becoming stiff, I could see frown on your forehead, I think you're becoming angry. Come, you can show a break card, let's take a break. Or you can show change, let's change the activity. So making your child communicate and then giving options for your child, which will help the child to move down from acceleration to agitation to calm. Once your child is calm, again you're coming back to the activity. So this would help. So when your child is in peak, the only thing what I would do is, your child should be safe, so take to a safe room. You should be safe, so aggression you are going to prevent. Allow the child to calm down, give some soothing toys, or allow the child to take his or her own time to de-escalate, and then recovery happens. So I'm stopping it here. Is it explanatory, or if there is any specific question, I would answer that.
Anyone has questions on this can please unmute and ask. Sushma, you had typed a question. Did this answer you?
Yeah, ma'am. I'll ask one, continuous of that. Thank you, Bindu ma'am, and thank you, Karthika ma'am. It's a wonderful session, mostly needed session. Thank you so much, ma'am. As you said, sometimes suddenly few triggers. Like my son is 10 years. Suddenly, few times it's not like he will be doing activities. Suddenly he remembers some badam or some food eatable, and he remembers that and he starts showing behavior. I'll say,
Okay,
Chalo.
Sushma, I'm stopping.
Yeah.
When you say behavior, right, to anyone, when you say behavior, you have to say it like a CCTV camera, because for me, behavior means hitting. For someone else, behavior means shouting. So what is behavior? Behavior means, if so a CCTV camera is there, what a person can see, what a person can hear, that is what behavior is. So what is his behavior? He asked for badam, or he remembers about badam. So what do you mean by behavior?
He suddenly doesn't want to do activity and he starts hitting on the table. Then he starts if we are not listening to him, then he comes on us to beat us, because first he starts beating table. Then I say, चलो ये activity करके हम जाएंगे वहां पे लेने के लिए. But he's not ready for that. Then he will hit himself. Then he comes on to me to hit.
Okay, so now if we have to divide by behavior escalation, the trigger is, it's not the badam. The trigger is the activity which is difficult. He wants to escape, or he is finding difficult something in the activity, that might be the trigger.
Okay.
So his way of coping is, if I chew something, I'm able to be better. Might be his only feel good is chewing badam. And now agitation, still we don't know what is agitation. You are saying acceleration is banging the table loudly. Agitation could be like, I'm uncomfortable on the table, I'm whining, I'm moving away from the task. All this could be agitation. You are seeing acceleration, that is banging the table. Then the peak becomes like self-hitting, hitting you. And when he reaches a peak, as I explained, when we are shouting at the spouse, if your spouse says something logical also, we won't be ready to listen. So in the peak, he won't be ready to listen to you. So in the banging stage itself, you are going to say, communicate. Allow the child to communicate in a proper way. Oh, you feel angry, you want break, you want change in activity. See, when the sometimes what we all face the fear is, even as a doctor, so I'm just talking from doctor's perspective, it has been told by doctors to you like, hey, if you give this time a break, right, it will become an escape. Every time this child will ask and will escape from the activity. You are reinforcing the escape behavior. But currently the behavior management has changed. It is not that the child will always escape. Even you and me, when we are really feeling anxious, we take a break. We don't say push, 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 let me finish it. We don't do. After a certain point, we give a break. So what we are going to teach the child is break, change in activity, let's communicate. And you are also going to set boundaries. The break is not eternal break. The break is 10 minutes break. The break is a count of 10. The break is, I'm keeping a timer. We are coming back to the activity. And what we have to reflect is, hey, this activity is something so difficult for you, it's triggering. How can I break it into small, small chunks that next time you don't have to go in for agitation and acceleration? That is something it's for us to reflect. Or might be the way we teach is difficult for the child. The activity is difficult. The way you teach is also not comfortable for me. So I am getting agitated. So in our classroom, we would have done a lot, right? Calculus, the teacher is teaching. I didn't understand. I'm trying to focus. I didn't understand. I will start looking here and there. That's our coping. And there are many times chalk piece would have come and fallen on us. And then we'll say, oh, I have to attend again. So we have also done that. Now our children are doing it in a way because they don't understand the social world. They are doing by banging, hitting, and all that. So the only thing what you are going to do is agitation phase figure out. And now you know that badam, chewing badam regulates him. Even in agitation phase, you can have badam in your hand. Oh,
Yes.
you're feeling that? Chew the badam and again try to focus on the activity.
Okay.
Otherwise, teach him to communicate like, hey, ask for a break. I'm here to help you. I'm not here to force you. You ask for a break. Let's set boundaries like 5 minutes break. When the alarm rings, we'll come back to the activity. So it's not escape from the activity. The child is, when the child knows that I have a voice, the child would be very cooperative. Because ultimately, our children want to make us feel happy. For them, the only external world which they want to satisfy is us. They are not bothered about someone. It's like few therapists, my parents, my closest family member. You are the world. I understand you. I want you people to be happy. If so, you respect my voice, you respect my choice. I would be more than grateful to respect your voice and choice. That's what they are. Uh, they are trying to show. Even after hitting and doing all these behaviors, most of the children will come and hug. Why? Because they feel extremely bad. I didn't want to hurt you. So somewhere, don't worry. From a pediatrician, from a developmental pediatrician, it's coming to you. It's not an escape behavior. Teach coping, and they will come back to you.
And I can even give that feel good option as give me badam. Also, I can give him as
Yes.
an option, na ma'am.
Yes, you can give it as an option. You can keep badam nearby. Or if you feel like just a walk and a badam will calm him down, it can be like in your menu, in your avas itself. You can say like, oh, I feel, in avas, you need not show the emotion part. If you're at the first stage, you are going to say like, I understand you are getting angry. Break. So you're going to say walk and badam. Go, let him eat, come back. When he is calm, you can again start doing the activity. Or if you feel like there is no more walks, every time walk, 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 keep the badam nearby. Eat the badam, continue the activity. So that you know that, oh, chewing something is making him more calmer. Then you can also look into other options. Might be while you're doing the experiment, focus experiment, you see like, okay, badam helps. Is there anything else which will help? Will a sensory tube chewing will help? Will a bubble gum help you? Or you are going to blow a balloon, will that help you? So that after an activity, chunk of activity, I would give you blowing bubble time or blowing a balloon time, so that you are more regulated. Then we'll continue with the next set of activities.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Krithika ma'am, there was one question in the document I sent you, that there is a child who, when she's hurt and when she is not able to express it, she keeps rubbing on the wound and it becomes too much and it gets aggravated. Then she's, physically hurt, like hands or legs. And the parents then cannot tell her not to continue that and stop, and that itching and scratching that continues for a long time. So
Okay.
what
See,
helps in this?
now it is not just for neurodivergent. My 8-year-old neurotypical is also doing that. So don't think like every behavior is an autistic behavior. So it is like, see, whenever a scab is formed, obviously for a scab to form, there are certain chemicals which are secreted in the body, and that is all histaminic. That will cause some itch. So if your child is having a scar and it is healing, start applying something like Nivea, some moisturizer, so that the itch is not, see, it is like, might be neurotypical feels a itch, in neurodivergent might be the extreme, interoceptive extremes are being faced. So they feel more itchy. It's more triggering that they do it, and then blood is again coming. The wound is taking a long time to heal. So what you can do is, one is like you can apply Nivea. Second is, if your child is trying to pick, you can say like, come, let's go and wash in water and come. So the histaminic response decreases. So it's basically, how are you going to teach coping? So it's not that the child doesn't feel the pain, so that only making it, the child is feeling the itch more. It's still paining for the child, but the itch is more. So what is a replacement for that? You can also say like, okay, let's wet a kerchief and handkerchief and we'll put it on it, so that the itch decreases. So that could be an alternative. Look for an alternative.
And one more question is from the document. So when we visit doctors, may not be developmental pediatricians all the time. And like you, many may not be even neurodivergent affirming, because you are a parent, so you understand better. So many doctors actually diagnose any problem that we take to them as autism related. Sometimes they don't even bother to ask questions or do any tests or find more about what the problem is. So how do we advocate for our children at that time? How do we tell them this may not be autism related?
That was a last question, right? My child is having stomach disturbance and head thing.
Yeah.
So for that parent, I would say, like, first of all, as parent, are we interoceptive aware? Are we accepting our child's thing? See, for me, first when I read it, I felt like, hey, is it hunger? For me also, the stomach would be uncomfortable. I have a headache. Might be for me it is hunger. So try to explore and find out why every time it is happening. Can we understand it? When we understand our children better, then it becomes easier, because see, these are all new practices. When I started my developmental pediatric practices, this Kelly Mahler's thing was not famous. It was not in our curriculum. Because I'm a parent, I am continuously looking for, like, hey, how can I help my child better? So now every doctor is trying to be neurodivergent friendly. So when you take these interoceptive menus, descriptive menus with you, then you are advocating for your child. It is making the doctor also aware. And the doctor also understand, like, hey, they are trying their level best for the child to communicate. Oh, this child, it is sometimes the non-speaking or minimally speaking are seen by the world as cognitively less. Because in a neurotypical world, that's how it works, right? If someone is not answering, we think like they don't know the answer. In our dictionary, there isn't like, hey, this person is not able to say an answer. So that's becoming like a generalization. So if you show these things, and if the child is able to communicate, or an adolescent is able to communicate, the world also start understanding, like, hey, it is nothing to do with cognition. I have to come up with options. So the last question the parent who asked, it can be hunger. So when we become more interoceptive aware, when we validate all the interoceptive sensation, then we can advocate for our children in the world also.
Follow me. Do you want to ask your question? Your hand is raised.
Yes, thank you. I was just typing to ask whether I should ask or I should just put it in the chat box. Thank you. So this is so helpful. Thank you so much. I have a not speaking 8-year-old who is suspected of intellectual disability. We don't know. And our awas and all our communication methods are very preliminary. So he's got muted introspection. So high pain tolerance, but small discomfort such as a blocked nose, a mosquito bite, or a sore throat, which happens often, is really triggering for him. So what it does is a very high squeal sound. In fact, you can probably hear that. And this goes on. And the problem is sometimes we are trying to think it's stress behavior. He also starts getting frequent pee accidents and so on. But physiological versus psychological is very hard, because 3 days later he has a nose flowing and fever. We know poor thing had a sore throat. He did not have stress behavior. We just presumed it was stress behavior. So until we follow these introspective lessons, it will take some years before, or at least a year before some of it develops. You're both a doctor and a parent. So what are some of the short-term attitudes or approaches we can take to distinguish? I mean, of course, we have to be very good detectives. All parents here are, but for a not speaking child, it is still so much trial and error. And I find these days of suffering when I could have perhaps given him but even the pediatrician can't help, because he's not able to tell us. If I have tried visual body charts, and he's not able to do those kinds of communication yet. So do you have some advice?
Okay, I completely understand you, and you are trying your level best, right? So you are going to, today you learn some things, you are going to start to practice that also. Sometimes we are vulnerable, right? When our most precious one is suffering in front of us, we are so helpless. And we feel like, I should help you, it's my duty to help you. Now think of your parent, right? Your mother. We are going through a lot. She knows you are helpless, but she is not coming to pitch in and help, right? There are situations where our mother who always protected us, or dad who always protected, or our friend who was always with us, is standing helpless next to us. They are just next to us, but it gives us an immense strength. We know that they can't change our situation. We know that they can't do something for us, but they stood next to us, and that is what we wanted. And we don't validate that also. Somehow they go away from us feeling like, oh, I'm helpless, I didn't do anything. So what I would say is, whatever you are going through is a vulnerable situation, talk it to your child. I really want to help you, but I don't know. I feel very bad for you, but I'm helpless, but I would like to sit next to you. So this way, when you start saying your vulnerability to your child, right? I've seen so many times Ritu looking at my eyes. That is so valuable, where that time only I understood, like, hey, my friend also need this validation. My amma also need this validation. I'm not giving this validation to them. She will stop her thing and she will look at me saying that I can understand you. Did I say to my people? No, I have not. After that only I started saying to my people that I know I am crying, but your presence really matters to me. It makes a difference. So somewhere you would be building your bricks. Someday it will become a palace. Someday in that palace, your son would be comfortable. But even when you are in a hut, if the most trusted person is next to them, you are making his life comfortable. That you have to say to yourself. So start showing your vulnerability to him. That itself will make you feel comfortable. And otherwise, you have to start taking the actions. All the actions you would anyhow take.
Yeah, thank you. That really was very helpful. Yeah, thanks very much.
Shifa has a question. Shifa, you want to ask? Unmute and ask.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, how to differentiate between sensory overload and attention-seeking behavior?
Okay. See, it's all confused. Now, it is two models. Okay, there is a behavior model, there is a developmental model. Behavior model became very famous. That is, the ABA became very famous. So in ABA, we started saying like, any behavior which happens, it could be for the four reasons. One is like the tangible need, the child is seeking for attention, or the child is trying to escape for something, or the child is it's something like the child wants something sensory. It is an internal body need. Okay, and we started saying like, this is what you're doing, and I have a choice to give or I have a choice not to give, because function currently is very important. In a developmental model, we are going to say this as not behaviors, these are dysregulations.
Okay.
So I respect the human being who is in front of me, and if that human being in front of me is asking for attention, for example, you are carrying a weight of water and you call your spouse name, okay, in a loud voice. You imagine how angrily we will call, like, I am carrying this, and you're sitting with your phone, right? That voice you are calling. Now, are you going to say this as attention seeking behavior, or are you going to say it as seeking help? Yeah, you are dysregulated, you're seeking help. Now, whatever name you call, whichever is going to help you, you're going to look for solution.
Okay.
So a person who is doing some sensory thing, sensory overwhelm or something, you're going to say it's dysregulation. I am here to help you cope.
Okay.
You are seeking for attention, but you're seeking in a silly way. Can I start giving words for you? If you are seeking for some sensory overwhelm and you need some feel good things, can I provide that? Can I reduce the triggers? And it's going to take some time for your child. So it's a very vague question. I gave a very vague answer. If you have any specifics to ask, please ask me. Or if I answered, then well and good.
Yes, ma'am. So it's basically dysregulation, right?
Yes, it's basically dysregulation. And if you start saying it as dysregulation, right, we will be in a very powerful place.
Okay.
Because otherwise, if we say it as a behavior, we will be in a controlling place. I have to control you. I have to find some solution. But if you say it as dysregulation, and you can say like, hey, I am a neurotypical, you're a neurodiverse. We both are trying to figure out our worlds. I am ready to help you. I'm trying to help you. And we are finding solution. We are finding our balance. One day we will surely find a balance and we will figure out the answer. Otherwise, when you are in a controlling place, you feel frustrated because you are not able to control, and because of that, your child is suffering.
True, ma'am. Like example, recently we had been to a function. Before also we have been to many functions. He is always silent and he sits and he's fine. But this time, like from 2 to 3 functions, he's been screaming and he wants to run around, and that was too much, ma'am, this time. So that is what I wanted to like ask.
Okay, so again, I would say like try to figure out the agitation. Initially itself, we will not start screaming and running around. That is all. You will put it as peak or you will put it as acceleration. Might be he's uncomfortable in the chair. Now start observing what are the triggers. Might be is it like your ears are feeling uncomfortable? Is it noisy? Or it can be so many things in a function which he feels the thing. And
Mainly
even if
he's
it is a mainly it is
hyperactive, ma'am. He doesn't want to sit in one place.
okay. Might be you can say like, oh, your legs are fast. And why do we call it as attention seeking behavior? See, obviously he's a small child, he needs your attention for coping, right? So he seeks your attention. So if you have some feel good menus, like, hey, we are supposed to sit here, but I can give you flapping toys, I can give you chewy tubes, I can give this self-engaging activity, I can give phone, I can give something to hear. So it is not his need. Even a neurotypical, my 8-year-old neurotypical will be continuously saying, I don't want to come here. It's boring, it's boring, it's boring, it's boring, it's boring. They have the mouth to say it's boring, and finally it is like they'll say, okay, go out with Appa and come. I need to stay here. So neurodiverse try to seek the same thing because they need an adult for them to regulate. So
we took
obviously,
him out now because we had been very early and he had nothing to do. So I took him out so that he can see outside moving around things, and then he's like little engaged.
So next time when you're planning for a function, carry his feel good menu. Okay, for the first 5 minutes we will be playing with this, then we will give you screen time, then it is so the child feels like my things are being met. Otherwise it's like it could be boredom also. So the child is engaging for some time, saw phone for some time, listen to music for some time, and then the child is like again becoming, you're going to say like, oh, your legs are fast, your hands are fast, your brain is empty, I think you're bored. Come, let's go for a walk and come. So start talking interoceptive things where the child feels like, hey, next time if I'm verbal, I might start saying, when you say these examples, right? For my daughter, it's like I used to say, oh, your legs are saying, I see your legs to be fast, I see your hands to be fast, you're whining, your mouth is whining, I think your brain is, or what are you feeling? She will say bored. Then I would say like, hey, if you say to me bored, I can come up with choices. Then I'll give her a choice board. We can do any of these. See, already she would have done some 2-3 things, but still some places we go, we think that we will eat and come fast, but they will not start the food, the thing itself. We have to wait. And if we say to them also, we will come, they will say like, no, 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 eat and go. So we are forced to stay there, and the children don't understand that, or the adolescent don't understand that. For them, it's like, yeah, it's my time is over. Come, let's go. So she would start saying like, eat in the hotel. So for it, like, I would say like, hey, we are waiting for eating. She'll say, eat in the hotel. So somewhere we are socially obliged. So we are going to say to them like, okay, I understand you're bored. So what's your choice? Because I am socially obliging someone, it doesn't mean that your voice is getting negated.
Okay, thank you so much.
Neha? Neha was asking what is the difference between sensory issues and interoceptives.
See, it's all different names. That's all. Earlier we called it from a problem perspective and we said sensory issues. Now we are talking from empowering perspective and we are saying like, hey, these are interoceptive differences and we can build it. Because when we say sensory issues, we feel like it has to be corrected, it should not be there. So we were not neurodivergent friendly. Now we are calling these names so that we know that there is a way to improve this. And it's not that every time a neurodivergent should improve. The world can be more accommodative. The world can be more friendly. So that only there is difference in terms.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I just have one question. Like previously, as you mentioned in your first slide, with regards if, for example, my son is watching TV or phone, and sometime he want to go to pee, but he will not say to me, he will not explain to me, and suddenly some accident had happened previously. So is it because of sensory, or as you mentioned, it is because of interoceptive? So he's not aware, or he is fully into the screen. So I faced many issues with regards to this.
Okay, see, sensory means you are saying like he's visually seeking so much in the TV,
Yes,
and because of that, okay.
yes, yes.
So this I would call it as less interoceptive awareness. When I'm so engaged in one sense, my brain is not very fast in detecting my internal senses.
Okay.
So what you are going to do is you are going to be more accommodative. So initially you're going to say like, hey, can you pee and then come and watch TV?
Okay.
And in between, while he is watching TV, you are going to remind him, hey, do you want to check whether the bladder is full? Can we go and pee and come? So that the accident don't happen, and you're also going to appreciate him that he took a break and he did it. If your child is able to do, you can also keep an alarm. When the alarm rings, might be you're going to watch for 30 minutes, might be after 15 minutes an alarm rings, that is something like pause, go pee and come, and then again sit and watch. So these are some of the accommodation where we are giving extra resources for the child to be aware of competing interoceptive things. Like two things are happening together. I experience a lot of this during my period time. It is like the continuously you have some sensation in your abdomen. You don't know whether the hip is paining, whether the lower tummy is paining, and when hunger also come, I feel so confused. So during my periods, it's someone have to keep on saying, might be you're hungry, might be you're hungry, because it's so difficult for me to understand these competing interoceptive experience. Everything is coming from the abdomen region, so it's confusing. So every one of us, we have some sensations like this. It's confusing. It's competing. Continuously something, both are happening. I don't know which is which. So for that, if you're going to be accommodative, that will help the child.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Anyone else has any questions? Srishti?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Krithika. This was really helpful. You just mentioned, for example, bladder is full. That was a very good example, like when talking about this, and mostly when you were talking about the attention steps, focus steps, how to build attention, how to build focus, you mostly talked about external organs, like working with hands or working with feet. And but like you did list out the internal organs like muscles, heart, lungs. So I'm guessing then like thinking about bladder would be another one. So how to build on these things, like something like this, like I have the same problem when he's too engaged in TV. Sometimes he's like he'll forget to get up and walk. And then that's what I do. I usually just keep reminding him, let's go take a potty turn, let's go take a potty turn. But instead, I think this is better where you go take it one step ahead and say, let's learn about how does our bladder feel? Does it feel full? Does it feel empty? And when you are really engaged in one activity, can you still go ahead and feel that feeling? Is it full? Is it empty? So how to work upon that?
Okay, see these type of descriptor menu, right, which is there in the Interoception Kelly Mahler website. I think it's some $75 or something. You get descriptive menu for everything. If you just do a free Google search, you will get for the external things. But for the internal things, you have to pay some $75. You don't have much of, for bladder and all, it's only three things. It's like it's full, it's empty, it's like uncomfortable or paining, it's tight, something like that. That is all for bladder. If it's for stomach, I think it is empty, it's full, it's nauseous, it is paining, it is tingling. So So these are some of the sensation. For the lungs, it is basically you are breathing fast, it's slow, it's stable. When you're coughing, right, at that time you feel like it is it's an English word like tari and dry. We can give some other word, like that experience, right? Might be if I say this word to my daughter, she doesn't understand, so I put my own word for that coughing experience. So for the heart, it is like heart is beating fast, heart is beating slow, heart is stable. These are mainly for the heart. So for the internal things, it's not very much like an external thing. But if you pay that $75, you get that menu card for everything. Few things are too complex that we feel like, hey, I myself have not experienced, let me experience that first, and then try to find out some Indian vocabulary for it and give it to the child.
I see. Okay. And like you said, few things are very complex. Like, do you remember an example on top of your head? Like being a doctor, if you felt like that, I'm wondering how we would as living people
No,
feel it.
no. It's complex for my daughter.
I see. Okay.
It's complex for my daughter. It's not like complex for me. It's complex for my
Okay.
daughter. And none of us made us understand that. See, now it is like I go for a run, right? And then we all say like, I'm panting for breath, right?
Hmm.
But why do you pant? Because your lung is empty.
Hmm.
So there is a thing called empty. I was like, how can lung be empty? But lung
Hmm.
is empty. Because the lung is empty, you're panting and you're taking a lot of breath.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
So they would be words like this, like lung empty. And I would be
Hmm.
like, how do I say to her? Like always, it's like, okay, lung is a breathing organ.
Hmm. Hmm.
So for me, it is like always there is some residual volume of air in the lung. How can a lung be empty? But we use a word like panting. Lung is
Hmm.
panting. See, it's a verb. It is not an adjective. Always interoceptive things are adjectives, but we use verbs also sometimes.
Hmm.
So it's like
Mhm.
that.
Got it. Got it. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ma'am, can I ask one question, please?
There are a couple of questions in the chat, Sushma.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, Ketki is asking how, what's the reason that a child jumps and rocks or smiles when watching a serial, or basically she's getting excited a lot when she watches something on TV.
Yeah, you have told the answer itself. The child is excited. You're going to make the child understand that the child is excited. You're going to say like, oh, your leg is jumping or leg is fast. Your mouth is loud, giggly. So you're excited. But when the child is excited, even if it's your favorite cartoon, they are not able to register. So you're going to say like, let's calm down. So when you are in step 4, you're going to say like, hey, can we squeeze this ball? Or can we stand on our foot 20 times? Let's calm down, then let's continue. Why? Because you will enjoy your cartoon better. So you are going to say to your child, you have really noted well, say those things and say the child you're excited and help the child to calm down. If your child is quite young, you have not started the interoceptive experiences, currently you can go and give some regulatory out of your ideas. You can give like, okay, what feel good option I can give so that the child can feel regulated, but start building all this so that at some point of time you are just saying your observation, your child will say like, oh, I'm excited. So orange zone. So which zone we are in? Orange zone. So the child will pause and come for calming down. So rather than you forcing your child to calm down, the child will start understanding like, I need a calming down. But still your role is there. But always you will see the progress. Otherwise, what you will do is you will say, calm down, do this. The child will be doing this, but still looking at the cartoon and still feeling excited. Then there's no purpose of calming down, right? So that is the process you are going to teach.
One more question in the chat. Maybe you answered this already. Is there any assessment to find out the levels of dysregulation, like sensory integration assessment?
Yeah, there is sensory integration assessment. Your occupational therapist
No,
who have
ma'am.
done.
I think I did not read the question properly. So, is there any assessment to find the levels of dysregulation? Like they have, like there is sensory integration assessment, right? How do we find the level of dysregulation for a child? Any formal assessment is there in place?
Okay, see, there is in the interoception website itself, there is an interoceptive based assessment, but none of the people in India, even a sensory integration therapist, are doing that. And it's not like too complex. Whatever we have explained, right? That is what it is. So one of the parent automatically used like, hey, my child is muted here. Shrishti said, hey, when it is competing experience, my child is not able to find out. It's all logic, right? This interoceptive assessment is just logical. So all these days, when you ask like, is it a sensory issue or it's a dysregulation? It's just a change in name. We were using sensory issues. Still, you can use sensory issues. If you use sensory issues, you feel like, okay, this is a problem I need to correct in my child. If you're using dysregulation, it's only a change in term. Again, you are going to address with your sensory integration therapist. Interoception, you are going to work on. So if I have answered your question, it's just a change in name, and you are going to use multiple things. You are using this name dysregulation for your empowerment and to empower the child. So when you use dysregulation, it is not like new things will get added on. The old things only you are going to call by this name.
Thank you, ma'am. I think that answers. Last question, Sushma, you want to ask?
Yeah, ma'am. Ma'am, my son is more foodie type. Like what he does is in the home, my daughter goes to school at 7 o'clock and he wants food at 7 o'clock itself. So slowly in the house, I made him used to that. When my daughter eats, he will not have food, and he shows all behaviors. I used to keep quiet, so he started waiting till 8:30 or 8:30 till whenever I give. But when I go to others' house or when I go to my mother's house, each and everyone eats at their respective times. Every time, whenever father eats, he wants food. Whenever my brother eats, he wants food. Even I'm telling, like, if I give him before also, but every time, like 8 o'clock, my father will have. He will have something snacks like that.
I got
8:30 is
your
my brother.
question. I got your
Every time,
question.
so
So it
how
is
can I
like
explain him?
you have to work on the it's again step one. You start from step one. When your daddy is hungry, your daddy will see like, I think my stomach is empty, I'm eating. When he tries to go, you will say like, hey, your stomach is already full, you ate. Might be you take a little bite and say enough, and you just move him away. See, some children, when they don't have engaging skill how to engage themselves, they fill their boredom with eating. Now you have to not think it is only interoception. Does your child have enough self-engaging skill? If I don't have self-engaging, easiest way to self-engage myself is eat. Now if you are if you are at home, you will scroll through your Instagram, you will watch some Netflix series, and we all will be continuously eating. Why? Because we are bored. We don't know how to self-engage. So similarly, it could be for your son. So one is building interoception so that he understands like, oh, when my stomach is empty, I eat. Otherwise, you're going to say like, oh, your mouth feel like chewing, your hands and legs are fast or slow, whatever it is. Your brain is empty. Let's chew this. You can give him a chewy tube and come. Let's do some puzzle. This is how you distract him and build a self-engaging skills. So did I answer your question?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Karpagoli has one. What exactly happens internally, physically, when they are in peak mode? Will they get hurt internally? Like when the child is screaming on top, he turns pink, starts to shiver, feels breathlessness.
It's all the amygdala. So in a brain, if you look into, we all have your brain stem, the basal part of the brain, which helps in breathing, which helps in maintaining the heart rate and all that. It's there for reptiles. And we have an emotional brain, that is your amygdala, hippocampus. And then as a human, we say like, oh, human have sixth sense. That is our prefrontal cortex, which is there. Now whatever we are trying to do when logical based thinking happening is through this prefrontal cortex. If so, the prefrontal cortex is not active, it's only the peak zone, it is the amygdala which is acting. Okay, so it is not that internally he's feel the emotion completely takes over. So the child wants to show his full emotion and then he calms down. It happens to us also, right? In a fight, we start screaming, we start shouting, we cry, we pant, we do all this. It's not, we are not physically feeling the pain, but emotionally we are feeling that pain, and the logic doesn't work. The registration of things around us doesn't happen. When a person is speaking, we understand the way we want. Without any logic, we do that. That is what is happening for the children also.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, Krithika, ma'am. We are almost 2 hours into the talk, and it was a very engaging talk, very informative. And I hope we can all get to action soon on all the things that you mentioned. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.